Hi, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Wild Wednesday Live. I'm your host, Beth Watts. And before we get started, I want to just remind you of a couple things. We have first some fabulous door prizes. We have Yazzii is donating a craft project folder. Off the Wall Quilts has a $25 gift certificate. Quilters Haven will be giving an 8-piece friction pin set and a glam bag kit. And Winter Designs will be donating for the raffle prize the template that she's going to be showing us. So it's super exciting. But I do want to remind you, if you ever miss a show, you can always watch it on our YouTube channel. So all that information is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. So we're just going to start right off and invite Yazzii. Yasmita from Yazzii Designs is going to be telling us all about her great craft bags. Hi there, how are you?
I'm very well, Beth. It's good to be back again. And I'm quite excited to share not new products, but something that I think would interest everyone and your audience out there. So if I can start, I'll just say a good afternoon to all of you who are watching us today. We know it's the 24th, the Wednesday in your part of the world. We are here in Australia on the 25th of February, and it's 9 a.m. So I'm looking forward to the next 15 minutes where I'm going to present two very popular products of ours, which is our thread bags. They began where someone said, we'd like just a place to be able to view our threads, keep them clean, viewable, accessible, and that's where we began our journey here. We had a lot of input from a few crafters, especially Sue Spargo, who actually looked at my bags and helped me probably move some pockets. And just to give it was more for that size of threads. Eleganza, we had wonderful threads. We had a bit of Baldani threads in there. You're never going to fit all the large spools, but the way I worked it out, I'm going to first show you a little video clip on the smaller version of it, and the code is CA625. On our website, it is $39.95, and the larger one that will come to will be $69.95. Now, what I'm going to explain to you is our offer here today. You're supposed to have a basket value. We're offering a 15% discount on any of my current bags from today at 2 o'clock, where I'm presenting, up to midnight tomorrow. You will have to use a WWYAZ2 coupon code to access this 15%. If you don't have it, it will not calculate it. And I cannot do it after the fact. So it's only on my current bags, not the ones that are already discounted. These are my hottest bags. In fact, I run short of it in the US all the time. This is what we're offering for 1.5 days almost. You've got the opportunity to get them for 15%. So if any bag is $50, for example, and you're getting a 15% off, and it's $7.50 off, so it's about $42 is your basket value, then you do not qualify for your free freight. You need to have a basket value with your discount at $50 to let the free freight kick in. And with your discount at $75, we will be giving you these two pouches, which are $11 on my website. So you've got one level of a free freight, one level of the two pouches at $75 for continental USA. It changes a little bit if you're in Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, or any other part of the world. And the next one will be the part where we're giving you the 15% discount. I have never really offered that. And with Wild Wednesday, we seem to be doing something like this. And that's because it's such a short stint. We can sort of run with it, get you engaged in some of our products if you don't know about it. And people have been very excited. We had a wonderful first show. This is our second, and I appreciate the company who's sort of giving us these opportunities and working so hard in presenting us all the way from Australia into their audience. And hopefully we can do a lot more of this before we get out there. So I'll come back at some stage between these bags, but right now I just want to show you what I've got in the smaller thread bag, which retails at 69, at 39.95. Okay, this is a classic clutch style organizer to store all your threads. I'm going to open this bag. It's got a generous Velcro flap, and I'm going to show you the internals first. So what I've done here is to show you a good space for the visuals. I've put one of these little tins of these bowhin pins in here. I've got a little hoop in here, lots of little bits of notion, some threads, just to give you an idea that it fits a lot more than you would expect in this pocket. So that fills up quite well. It's got a gusset in the plastic that gives you some room to stretch and spread your product throughout it. And in the middle, I've put some elasticated pockets so that you can attach your threads if you choose to. You can attach your pens, your markers, maybe some rulers, however you feel you want to use this bag. It was actually designed a couple of years ago to fit normal Orifel, eleganza, some wonderful threads. I would say it'll take about 54 of them in total if you were using the same size threads. The moment you start moving to larger threads, obviously it's not going to work exactly the same, but it was meant to serve a purpose to keep your threads dust free. And I'm just showing you, this is one of the larger threads that has fitted perfectly in this bag. You've got a lot of room to grow in there. So that's the shape of the internal of this bag. And I'm going to now take you to this end where, again, I could have put lots of threads in there, but I filled it with other products so you understand what you can use it for. You might not have as many threads. Now, if you reverse this bag, again, I filled it with lots of threads. The same setup can be actually featured in the front, but I just did not have as many threads around to fill up. So you've got the bag in front of you. It fits into a real, like a purse style. So if you were taking it to classes, you can just open them up and set yourself up with maybe a project using one type of thread, the second one in here. And you make it work for you. At the end of the day, this should work for you. So I'm going to leave you to show you an inspirational video of how people actually buy this bag and then they embellish it to personalize it and make it look beautiful. So do go and enter the competition for today. It's day 3 at the Great Australian Craft Show. Okay, now I hope you enjoyed that. And as you can see, it's our smaller version of this thread bag. And if you're going to put some larger threads, it does fit, but only thing you're not going to get is 50. So I don't want you to say, well, you said it's 50. It was meant, I've shown you the threads that it should fit, and anything larger, it'll reduce the numbers. But you might not use all the pockets for your threads. You might have other notions to fit in the bags. We tried to give you all the flexibility you could. Then we went on the same year to prepare a larger version, which to me takes about 104 spools of the similar type of the Oriful eleganza threads. And again, it'll reduce to 60 or 70 if you got larger threads in there. So let's see a video on that and see what you think about it. Okay, the larger bag is $69.95 on our website. And as I said, you have a 15% discount on it. So even with the reduction, you need to have a $75 to get a minimum basket value to get your free pouches. So just calculate it. What I don't want you to do, and that's what happened last time, is you were ordering the extra pouches and adding the cost of it, and then I was giving you a refund. It just gets too tricky. We know you have to make a $50 purchase within continental USA. We'll look at your order after your discount and say, okay, they qualify, and we'll give you the free freight. We'll also give you the pouches if you've ordered for your minimum after discount at $75. We've got a fabulous special each week with on the website for discounts, where we're giving you free freight, where we're clearing a lot of the stock that we're not going to be back at the shows for the next year or year and a half. It's just the way it's turned out. So do take advantage of it. We've also got some fabulous gift ideas that people use them for jewelry and makeup and whatever. They travel with it, and there's some amazing ideas. These are all handcrafted bags 20 years later, and I think you've got an opportunity to see everything in your living rooms, just watching us. I think it's all working out wonderfully well. We're looking forward to coming back to the shows, but at this stage in Australia, we're not allowed to really book any travel for the next year and a half. So we will be staying put, and if you can share this information with your friends who enjoy crafts and who feel need a little bit of organization, it's up to you. But I look forward to seeing you the next time I get this opportunity to share more bags. Remember, the list is endless. We've got a website. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us on www.yazzii.com. Bye for now.
Thank you, Yasmita. As you know, all of difficulties. But just bear with us. And if it ever gets to be a big problem, we'll swap out another vendor. So I'm just going to move right now. But stay tuned because we do have some. Oh my goodness. I'm hooked up right to my modem. So I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I'm going to switch right over to Julie from Off the Wall Designs. Julie, are you there? Welcome. Ups, turn off your mic. Turn on your mic. Yep, just there you go. All right, welcome. I'm just going to turn it right over to you so you can show us what you've got.
Okay, thanks, Beth.
Sure.
And it was good to see Yazzii over in Australia. I'm coming to you from Florida today. Should I say sunny Florida? It's 80 degrees. It's lovely. So,
technology, you gotta love it.
To all of you in the colder areas, spring is coming. I promise. It'll get there. We'll blow it towards you. Anyways, it's good to be here again today, and I want to show you a couple new products. I apologize for the mess on the wall behind me. I'm teaching 3 more classes this week, and I'm trying to get everything in place, but I thought you might want to peek at some of the projects anyways. So today, I'm going to bring you kind of a look at our new 18-inch rotating cutting mat, and it's one that I got to design. So I want to explain to you what I was doing and what I was looking for in a rotating cutting mat design. So this is the mat right here, and like I said, it's 18 inches. It's actually a 3-piece set, and that is because it has your cutting mat, a support disc underneath it, and then your turntable. So there's a lot of different mats out there, and I used to have, the first ones I had were friction mats. So it was basically 2 smooth surfaces that rubbed against each other, and that worked okay, as long as there wasn't any thread or dust in between there. So if you have one of those mats and it's not turning as well as you need it to, make sure that you take it apart and clean that. I would even sometimes throw it in the sink and wash it, and then get it back together, and it should slide for you again. But they were usually square too. And I also had students sometimes that would come with rectangular mats. Now, the problem with a square is when I would go to turn it, it took up more space than the square itself. And the corners would clean off my table, which wasn't always a bad thing. But, you know, I've got a little bit of a quilting belly. And so it would also poke me in that little quilting belly once in a while. So that wasn't so cool. So I'd end up in a really awkward position, leaning over my rotating mat trying to cut. So I knew I didn't want a square. So circle was the shape for me. And I had used some circular ones and I like them. But like I said, I often work with 12-inch blocks. So I needed to be able to square up a 12.5-inch block. So that was the first requirement that I told Rick, my husband, who's an engineer. So he said, okay, you need to have an 18-inch circle in order to do a 12.5-inch square on it. So that's where we started. And then he asked me about what lines I wanted. And I usually, for the most part, I use the lines on my rulers. But sometimes I just want to throw a piece of fabric on there and I want to cut it 8 inches. So this, I'm going to cut down here at 8 and I'm going to cut up here at the 0, and I have 8 inches. So we put lines that are 1 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch. The colors we chose were a blue background with white ink on it because I have some color challenges, and the one board I had red lines on it, and I couldn't tell which lines were which. So in here we have a solid line for the 1 inch, dashed line for the 1/2, and dotted lines for the 1/4. So I can see immediately which lines I'm looking at. So that was really intentional. I didn't need a whole lot of other lines. I like this here because when I'm cutting a square, I can just put the corners on my cross lines and cut like this, and I can get my half or quarter square triangles. I asked my friend Bonnie in Arizona what else she thought that people liked on their cutting mats, and she suggested the little handles. So you'll see that we've got little handles. Let's get one where you can see it. And that way, if you have everything spread out on your board, you can just grab right there and turn it. Now, we deliberately put them each a quarter of a turn. So if I'm working and I need a quarter turn, it's really easy just to grab my handle and turn it, and I've got a quarter turn. So there was some thought that went into that as well. Now, here's another fun thing about our mats. This is the side I use most of the time. And when I sent one of these to my friend Seth, he said to me, "Oh, good, it's blue. I get so tired of everything being pink." And I said to him, "Seth, flip it over. It's hot bubblegum pink." And so we had a good laugh. But we deliberately did not attach anything to this side of our mat because it's also a cutting mat. So you have two sides you can use. If those lines are just a distraction to you sometimes, turn it over and use this side. Starting to wear out your blue side, it'll wear out eventually. You have another side. So this mat's going to last you twice as long as many of the other ones. So that's why we've done that. Now underneath you have an acrylic circle that's included. Let me skip that for a minute and I'll come back. This is the turntable that has ball bearings inside it. So they're enclosed. It's always going to be a nice smooth turn on it. And this side, plastic. On this side, you're going to feel some cushy pieces that are already in place. So when you get that, people tend to want to put those down. You actually want those up, and then you can put your acrylic disc on it. Now, why did we do an acrylic disc? Well, at this point, nobody is yet making these turntables in a standard 18-inch size. We're working on that. So we wanted to be able to support the cutting mat and let you cut all the way to the edge. So we're including this. I keep the paper on the back just because I don't need to take it off, and I just go ahead and set my disc on there, and then I set my mat on top of it. Now, I don't feel like it slips around. If you do, I'm going to show you something you can put on it real easy to keep it in place. But that way I can cut all the way to the edges, and I don't have any issues with it sagging. It's going to stay nice and firm. Now, you also get, though, that acrylic disc, which you can use in your quilting. If you need to cut something circular, if you want to do some scallops, I've had some people more excited about the acrylic circle than the cutting mat, but it all comes as one set. Now, this three-piece set also includes a little tiny 7-inch disc, which I'll show you in just a minute. Let me just grab it. A cutting mat. So you're going to get a 7-inch one that works exactly the same. And you get those both in a set. Those are usually $99. And the special today is I'm going to give you a coupon code, and it'll give you $20 off. And then I have something else really cool to show you. But let me show you a little bit more about using your turntable. People will come to me and say, "Is this going to turn when I try to cut?" And a lot of people have trouble when they go to cut on this, and it turns like this. So let me help you out with that a little bit. Part of that is going to be the angle of your hand. The weight of your hand dropping straight down on your template or ruler is enough to hold it in place. But if you are coming from an angle, you're going to slide either the ruler or you're going to press so hard that you turn your mat. So make sure that you are standing in a way, or sitting, that you can just drop the weight of your hand straight down. No white knuckles. And you might want to check the height of your table if you can. A lot of my students in class are shorter than I am. And I have found that if I just take a little step stool and they hop up on that step stool, all of a sudden everything's at the right height. So that's really a helpful thing to do. Now be careful when you're cutting also. A lot of people take their rotary cutter and they want to see where the blade is, and so they tip it like this. Well, then you're pushing against your ruler or your template, and so then you start reaming down harder, and pretty soon you're moving and turning everything. Okay? Well, people tell me, "Julie, I just cannot get those templates or rulers to hold still. They just run all over." So for that, what we do is we use ruler magic. Okay, and what you do with that is you just shake it up, you take a little dab on your finger, and you just wipe it on there. It'll go on white, it'll dry clear. It's on this ruler. If you look close, you can see it. When I put on the fabric, it disappears. But now my ruler's not running all over the place. So that side that's down has it on there. This side, the top, doesn't have any on there, and it just slides. So I like Ruler Magic because it doesn't spray all over the table. It goes right where I want it. I can still move my ruler, any pressure on it, and it stops moving. Now, if I feel like it's too cloudy and I want to see through it better, I just go and throw it in the sink, cold water and a little bit of soap, and I just wash it off, and the lint comes off. If for any reason I want to take it all off, hot water takes it right off. So what we want to do today is you order one of these rotating cutting mats. Not only do you get the $20 off, we're going to put in a little sample size of Ruler Magic. That's a $7.99 value. So you're getting a good package deal, the 2 cutting mats and the Ruler Magic. So let me show you again how this works really well with the 12.5-inch block. And I think you'll see why I was so excited. So you can see that one's a 12.5. I need to square it up. So I'm going to get my ruler on there. Now I have a little bit of Ruler Magic just around the edges. You can just see right there. It's a little cloudy looking. So I just dabbed a little bit on there, and then I went and picked up a little lint because I don't like it super sticky. You can use super sticky if you want. I don't like to. Now, you always want to be cutting directly away from you, okay? You don't want to be doing the reach over and cut funny on the edges because that's how you make mistakes. So to get a good cut, you want to cut right away from you, and then you're going to turn the board, and then you're always making your cuts go the same way. And you can get a great cut that way every single time. And your board is your friend. One more use for this that I like to do is when I'm building a block and I've done all my cutting and I'm sewing and pressing and I want to make sure I get everything back in the right place, I can lay my blocks out on this and carry it right over to my machine. And I can either use the cutting mat or the acrylic mat or both. So it's really a handy and useful tool. Now we've got the discount listed, but I made this to help you. Remember, the discount code is 2020 off, OFF. Okay, you don't have to use any capitals. I just wanted to make sure that you could see it's not 200 FF because that's what it looked like. It's 20 off. And if you have any questions about using rotating mats or Ruler Magic, I'd love to answer them for you at the end. So thanks for watching today and have fun cutting.
Thank you so much, Julie. That was fabulous. I'm doing some paper piecing right now, and I think that turntable would work fabulous for that. So I'll have to get in contact with you. Okay. Go ahead.
A lot of people for paper piecing love this little guy.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. I can already see where my paycheck's going to go this week. All right. So I just want to let everybody know that we do have some fabulous prizes that have been donated by the vendors that are showing us their goods today. And the code word that you're all waiting for. Oops. I think that it could be my internet that's acting crazy. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it right over to Raylene in case it is my internet that's crazy. But the code word that you want to type in right now is so fun. And that will get you entered into the drawings that will be held this afternoon. Well, probably this afternoon, and then Raylene will post it on the website. So if you see your name, just get in contact with Raylene and you'll win a prize. All right, our next vendor is Raylene herself. I'm so excited. She always has fabulous things to show us. So Raylene, why don't you come right on?
Hey, how's everybody?
I think everybody's doing good.
Okay, well, I can't be outdone by Julie and her Florida weather. So I just want to say that here in Arizona, it's also 80 degrees and gorgeous. So,
oh my gosh. I think it was 20 degrees today when I left the house.
You can have it. You can totally have it. I mean, we had a very frigid morning. It was like 58. I almost died. It was terrible.
Yeah, no, that would be like weather for us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a bad thing about it here. When it drops below 80, I'm bundled up, probably like you are, on a 0 day. So
Right.
I don't do well.
Right.
But anyway, we're glad to be coming to you, and I'm excited to be a vendor today instead of a host. It's a whole different dynamic for me, so I'm really looking forward to sharing a couple of things with you today. I get asked all the time about marking tools, and one thing that you'll learn really quickly about marking. There's no such thing as one size fits all. There is not one product that's going to do everything you need. So although there's lots more things out there on the market, I'm going to share with you what my favorites are. This is just my opinion, which, for a lot of people doesn't mean a whole lot. But I can tell you after 38 years in the quilting industry, these are my top sellers. And I use all these products. So I do really believe these are some of the best marking tools out there. So we're going to start with my absolute favorite thing in the world, and that is just a sharp number 2 pencil. Pencil is great for marking on fabric, especially if it's somewhere where it's not going to show. But the thing you want to remember is you want to use the right pencil sharpener. And that is this guy right here. This is one of the best little sharpeners that I have ever found. It is a German steel magnesium blade sharpener. But the difference is when you sharpen your pencil with it, instead of the lead being long and thin, it's more blunt. So when you put a little extra pressure to mark on your fabric, it's not going to break off. And I want to show you real quick. This is the back side of a piece of fabric. And I'm just going to mark right along my ruler. And you can see how beautiful that line shows up. So anytime you're marking on the back or you're marking where someplace it's not going to show, this is a great marking tool, and we all have them, and they just cost a few cents. And usually on most fabric, you can then just use a regular fabric eraser to erase those marks out if you do need to remove them. And this is a great little fabric eraser. It's put out by Bowen, the French notions company, who I adore. They're $4.20. And what I like about this versus some of the other brands that I've carried over the years is this one just doesn't seem to break apart nearly as easily as some of those others do. And it generally tends to be less money. Bowen products are, again, they're all made in France, and I have yet to have any of their products that I haven't fallen in love with. So, you want to kind of watch for those when you're out and about shopping, because they really are a good quality product, and they're usually a little bit cheaper than some of the other brands. So that was my first pen marking tool. That's our pencil. Next is the chalk aligner. Chalk aligners have been around for over 30 years. Some of you may remember when they first came out, if you've been around for a while, it was a little black heart. And it has a little wheel in it. Well, they finally upgraded it to make it a little bit easier to use and also to refill. So it comes with a lid on it. And then the end, there's a little metal wheel that's actually just dispensing that fine line of chalk. And I'm going to mark on this dark fabric right here so you can see it better. Super fine line. Not only right up against your rulers or your tools, but also if you're using an actual quilting stencil, you can mark right inside your little grooves to mark your quilting lines. Now, if you're using a chalk aligner, you don't want to use those and mark an entire quilt because it is just a loose powdered chalk. Although that little wheel is kind of pushing that chalk down in the fibers of the fabric, it's not going to, come off when you just rub on it a little bit, but over a little bit of time, you're going to find that it's gone. And then when you do want to remove it, you can either take a damp cloth and wipe it out. You can, kind of rub the fabrics together. I have this little cheapy sewing machine lint brush that I cut the ends of it off to make it stiffer. And I can use that, or even a toothbrush, just to wipe that chalk out. So the nice thing about it is these do come in 4 different colors. So they have blue, they have white, they have pink, they have yellow. But here's the rule of thumb. You do not need all 4. If you're going to buy one, you want to start with the blue because that will show up on almost all of both your light and dark fabrics. Because I showed you here on the dark fabric, but here it is on a light fabric. So you can see, and it's probably not showing up as well through the camera as it is to me, but it is very easy to see. So if you're only going to get one, I highly recommend you start with the blue or even the pink if you just prefer the pink color. Then when you go to buy a second one, we say either get the white or the yellow. Now, I prefer the white, and the reason is in all marking tools on the market, If you're using yellow, you always want to be cautious. There is something in yellow dye that in some fabrics, it's really hard to get it out. So I tend to want to use the white over the yellow. But again, yellow's fine. Just make sure you test it first that it's going to come out. Now, they sell for, what was it, $7.35. And honestly, it takes forever before you have to refill them. But when you get to that point, you get 2 bottles of refill for $4.65. So it's very economical to use. Now, a couple of years ago, they came out with a new version, and it's more of a pin style. And the difference was it's a little bit longer, a little bit thinner, has that same metal wheel. But then when you wanted to refill it, instead of just having to empty the bottle of chalk into the end of it the way you did with the traditional one, you just screwed the new cartridge on. Now, I carry both of these, but here's what I tell all my customers. These are over $2 more each. The refills are more expensive as well. There's nothing wrong with those original ones. I'm not getting rid of those. So it's really just your preference. But again, I see no real reason to spend more money when you don't have to, because the originals work terrific. Okay, so that's the chalk aligners. Now, a lot of you guys are also familiar with the Frixion pins. Love the Frixion pins. They come in several different colors, but the problem with our Frixions is they are really only for light colored fabrics. The technology of this gel ink, they can't do it in white or a lighter color for our dark fabrics. But if you're doing your light color fabrics, these are a 0.7 lead. So they're super, super thin. You get that super fine, fine line. And again, as I'm marking this, I just want to mention for any of the beginners out there, when you're marking, if you're marking a long line, it's always better, instead of trying to do one long mark, to do little short strokes. You're going to get a much better mark that way. Okay, but here's what's awesome about the Frixion pins. When you want to remove the line, and I don't want to melt my cutting mat, and Teresa from Big Mat will yell at me for melting my new mat she just sent me. But all you do, I'm going to put my wool mat down here. You just take your warm iron and go right over your Frixion mark with the warm iron, and the line disappears. Huh? Is that awesome? It's like magic. I could play with that all day long. But I do want to caution you a little bit on that. Sometimes when the weather turns really cold, which of course we don't know much about that here in Arizona, sometimes those lines will come back up on your fabric. Just hit it with your iron again, and it's going to be gone. Now, although I've had it come back, and lots of customers have had it come back a second time, I've never known of anybody to have it come back a third time. So don't panic. If some of the line kind of comes back up, just hit it with your iron again. Now, the last little marking tool that I want to share with you is my all-time favorite. And they've been out probably about 8 or 9 years now. It's the Bowen Mechanical Chalk Pencil. Now, this was originally manufactured by a Japanese company, and then they sold the rights of it to Bowen, the French company. We actually were at Quilt Market with them all when this all transpired. So Bowen is the original one, again, because they did have the rights from the original designer on this. The thing I love about my Bowen is that it is a 0.09 lead. So it is the finest line out there for marking. And it's a non-oil-based ceramic chalk, so it's not going to stain anything. And look how beautiful and fine that line is. Now, the best part is when you want to remove it, on the end of your pencil is a fabric eraser, and it just erases out, or it will also wash out easy. It will also brush out, but not until you're ready for it to be gone. So unlike the chalk aligner where you don't want to mark a big area, you can mark a larger area with your Bowen. Now, the best thing though is because of that 0.9 lead being so fine, honestly, unless you get off your sewing line, you never have to remove it because your thread is covering it right up. Now, they come with a package of refills. I buried my box here. There actually is a lead in the pencil when you get it, and then a package of 5 refills with it for $12.70. And I will tell you, these last a really long time, but you want to get in the habit of doing something. Every time you lay this down after you write, if you just push your top in and push the lead in so that you aren't apt, because we've kind of been trained, pick up a mechanical pencil, hit the end. But if it's already out and you're hitting it again, you might be extending that lead out too far. So then you pick it up to mark and you break off the end. So again, get in the habit. Every time you lay it down, click that top, push that lead back in so that when you pick it up, you click it. If that's not quite enough, you can click it again. You will not break your lead as much and it will last much longer. Another thing a lot of people don't realize about these is they'll look at that little eraser and go, well, that's not going to last very long. But hold on to the white, twist the red, and you've actually got a lot more eraser inside your pencil. And these are refillable. They come a pack of 3 erasers for $3.20. But also, this is the same eraser that's in the end of these. So it's a lot cheaper just to buy one of these that you could use for other projects as well. But all of these things are on our website. And then one last little thing I want to talk about, because a lot of times I get asked at the shows, well, what about, can I use those to sign my quilt? No. These are not for signing your quilts. You want a permanent pin when you are going to sign the back of your quilt, or if you're going to mark and date on a label. And the ones I love the most for that are the Pigma pins. I like the 0.05 because the finer line, they don't bleed through the fabric so much. So I'll just show you right here. I can just write my name. Of course, if I was doing it slower, it would look nicer, but this is a permanent pin. So these are what you want to use when you're going to mark your quilt. They're $2.99 each, and they come in several different colors on our website. Now, also because I was using my little steam fast iron to show you the Frixion pins, we're going to include this in our special that we're running today, and also our little mat. Now, the little mat, you're not going to find in the exact same places you're going to find all these tools. But if you go to our website, you go to the marking section, you're going to see everything I demoed and also the little iron. And our special is 20% off everything in that category. However, if you decide you'd love to have this great little 8.5-inch wool mat, they're $19.99. But if you order that by midnight tomorrow, I will automatically take the 20% off because I didn't tell my webmaster ahead of time I was going to do this so she could set it up. So again, our special is 20% off our entire marking category, also the 8.5-inch mat and the steam fast iron, which the reason I love this guy is because it is a small travel iron, but the heat is actually adjustable and it is a steam iron. So unlike those original traditional travel irons that had one setting, scorch, this one will actually allow you to adjust the different temperatures. And it's not so lightweight that you can't actually get some friction on it to do the ironing. These are regular $29.99 and then 20% off that. So that's what I had to share with you today. I hope I answered some questions about marking. If not, you can certainly hang around at the end of the show. I will be on for the Q&A if you have any other questions. So I'm going to turn it back to Beth.
Perfect. That was fabulous. I always learn something from you. It's good, because you know of these techniques, but then they kind of get filed away. So it's good to get a little refresher.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, we will see you in a minute at the for the questions and answers. Thank you.
See you then.
Okay. And I just want to remind you that the code word for today's prizes is so fun. And we have a bunch of fun prizes from Yasmita has a craft project folder, a $25 gift certificate from Off the Wall Designs. Quilters Haven has donated an 8-piece friction pin set, which is going to be fabulous, and a glam bag kit. And Linda Winter is going to show us what template she's donating. So I'm going to turn it right over to Linda and to see what you have. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? We have
Pretty
a different setup this week, so I'm seeing myself, but not you. So I hope you're doing well. Hi, everybody. Okay, now I've got a close-up. There we go. So we have a new setup this week. I love Zeke with all his technology. So this week, I'm doing something a little bit different. I wanted to backtrack a little bit. I know most of you know that I work for Martelli. Martelli makes this no-slip material, and this stuff grabs. No slipping, no kidding. You can see the fabric when I move this, how the fabric stays with it. I wanted to backtrack a little bit because I make templates that are specialty templates, specific templates, a burp pad, a microwave bowl cozy, owl taggy toys, the baby bibs, that kind of stuff. But I had a lady that called and said, I want to make a bib, but not your bib, the size. I want to make the bib, but I want to make it larger. her daughter, I can't even remember if it was her daughter or son, and I apologize for the details, but I was more hung up on how can I do this so that it will make sense for her. But her daughter was a little bit older and maybe 10, 12, and had some just difficulties with, just life in general. And she wanted to make bibs for her to be able to wear. So when she was eating, that she didn't make a mess all over. And it brought me back to all the questions you guys have had over the years about adult bibs, for the men that are just slobs, for your friends that have, parents or grandparents or someone that you know and love in a nursing home or in a community center where they really do need to have something so that their clothes aren't constantly being filthy. So I wanted to backtrack and talk about how you can design your own. I have, if I can find it, I'm kind of going out of my order here. I have this baby bib. This is a baby bib template. And this guy here has the no slip material on the back. And what it does is it makes something like this. You can see I like to use elastic because elastic, unlike the snaps or the Velcro or the buttons, babies can't pull it off. Likewise with adults, and we're not talking about somebody that's really aware, but, somebody that might be fighting the bib, having the elastic on, and the headbands are great for this. These headbands from the Dollar Tree, these guys, these you can do elastic. You want to pick the elastic that's the right strength. And I talk about it in my baby bib video, but I wanted to show how to take this, the idea of this, and make it for somebody bigger. So Martelli makes all these amazing tools that you're going to use for the beginning of a project, during a project, at the end of a project. Rulers that give us straight cuts. Now the giveaway that I'm doing today, whoever wins my giveaway, the door prize, I should say, they get to pick one of the things that I'm demoing. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff that you'll see in the photo too. So if you're the winner, you can call me and say, I really want, and I'll give you lots of options so you can decide which one. But this is the no slip strip ruler. There's 2.5, 2.25, all kinds of different widths with this, but I can use this as a straight edge ruler. When I go to cut, I get a perfect cut every single time. And I can cut 8 to 10 layers when I have a straight edge. I've got other straight rulers over there too. So I would first, for a project like this, start with, I like to use a fat quarter. Fat quarters, why? Because they kind of fit your body. And let me show you, this was the one that I did kind of with her over the phone. Do you see how I have half of it here? That's basically what we're seeing here. So when we go to cut this, I want to show you how you can square off. I started with the fat quarter, so I cut my fat quarter first. And then from there, I wanted to cut down a little bit because think of somebody that's about 10 years old. So this length here and the width, you kind of decide how much wider you want it to be. But this curve, this curve, this curve, how do we do those curves? So this template, of course, has those curves built in, which is really nice. But I make the round offs. The round offs were the first set of templates that I had Martelli make for me. I didn't have it to make them to sell. I made them for me because at the time I was doing a ton of stuff. Doggy beds, kitty beds for the Humane Society. There's a large, there's a medium, and there's a small. If you guys have seen me before, then you've seen me talk about 1.5, 2.0, 1.0, 2.25. Do you see how this radius isn't the same as this radius, There's 4 radiuses here. There's 4 radiuses here. There's 4 radiuses here. What I want to do first when I go to something like this is I want to square off, but not square off. I want to round off that corner. So you can choose any of these and you audition. Basically, do I like this one? Do I like this one? Do I like this one? When you find the one that you like, I'm going to line it up on the edge, And because it has that no slip material on the back, when I go to cut, I get a perfect cut every single time. Okay, so we've done basically this cut. Now I want to take this and decide inside here. Let's see what we're going to be doing. We're going to be cutting inside here. So I'm going to place this. There's the fold of my fabric here. I'm going to place this going this way. So right up here, when I look at this, you can see That's basically what I'm mimicking here. I have 5.5. I could do 5.5. I could do 5.0. Just kind of depends. And also it depends too. Are you going to do the Velcro? Are you going to do the snaps? Are you going to do the elastic? You can do whatever it is you want. I have this so it comes to a point right here when I go to cut this. So let me get this over. I want to turn this so I can cut. And when I go to cut this guy here, and notice what I'm doing. I'm actually cutting like as a right-hander would. So when I cut, do you see that? Because I'm cutting right-handed, I really should have gone the other way, but you get the idea. So when I go to cut that, I've now got my top done. I can leave this bottom straight if I want to do that. What's cool about that is I would actually cut the front and the back at the same time. And what's cool about this is if this is for an adult and I had some really cool fabric for an adult, I could actually bring this up and do a snap here and a snap here. And I actually would bring it in a little bit. You can even do a little pleat here and a pleat here. What does that create? A pocket. Now, what kind of fabric would I use for that? Laminated fabric, oilcloth, PUL, polyurethane laminate. You guys have heard me talk about that. That's what this stuff is. PUL, polyurethane laminate, wipeable, washable, breathable. So when you do have things like diapers inside of here that might be dirty, I cannot worry. I don't have to worry about this growing in there. So diaper changing pads, diaper cases, those kinds of things, all are done with the round offs. So you can make an adult bib with the curve if you wanted to do down here like mine has here. But you can see how I basically, if I put the elastic on, I'd have an adult bib for myself. Now, I want you to think about making these for men out of men's button-down shirts. The back of their shirt, I don't want any pleats. I don't want any where it's, really tailored and a fitted shirt. I want it to just be a solid fabric. And imagine this out of a man's shirt. You can do a towel on the back. You can do whatever kind of fabric you want on the back. I want it to be able to stop stuff getting here. So the round offs let you design your own. Design your own because maybe there isn't a pattern out there that you like. And I mentioned that I had templates for the smaller one. You guys have been asking forever for my adult bib. So guess what I have? This is hot off the press. I had somebody that came in with some adult bibs and said, please make this for me, please. She makes a ton of them. Can you see how this Velcro snap button back here? So this is brand new. It's not even on my website yet. So if you don't want to design your own, like I just showed you, I have this available too. What I like about the round offs, I showed you a couple of the projects with the round offs. What I like about these guys is you design your own. You buy one set of templates, and a lot of you have these already. And these guys let you make so many different things because of those radiuses. I want to pull out another project that I really like. These are those dumpling bags. I don't know if y'all have seen these, but these little bags here, you can see basically it's not a box pleat per se, but it's kind of. You can add a strap on there if you want, make it dressy or make it more utilitarian. What I really like about this is with the round offs, and with the rectangles. Martelli makes rectangles, they make squares, they make triangles, they make all different shapes. But the rectangles and the squares, this is a layer cake, the 10-inch, these are really valuable. I have the 7x9 right here, and the 7x9 lets me make the beginning of this little bag. But I don't want 7x9. Do you see how this isn't quite as big there? So let's imagine I have some pretty fabric. I'm going to place this on the mat. Martelli mats, these guys here, I can use the measurements on this mat for me to be able to actually do the cutting. I'm going to take off an inch. I've got a fold right here, and I would cut and cut and cut. That's going to give me this piece basically here. Not this yet, not that yet, not that yet. Those are coming. It just gives me almost a rectangle. 7x9 isn't 7x9 anymore. Once I do that, then I'm going to use the round offs, folding this fabric in half, and use the round offs to round off the corners. Zeke's giving me 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm running way behind today. So rounding off this corner and this corner at the same time, and then you can go in and draw your marks here for the little bottom. Boy, this brown is hard to show up on that screen. Let me pop that open and see. Yeah, see how that's much better? I put those two together and then I stitch. And then the cool thing about this technique is when I finish this off, this right here is just seam binding. I don't know if you can see that. That seam binding there, I'm just basically covering up that raw edge. Yeah, there we go. Good. Boy, and the brown, I won't use brown again. Do you see how that's harder to see? But you get the idea. That was a raw seam. So the round offs let you do all those fun things. I've got other projects that are done with the rectangles. You guys have seen these before. This guy here, I love sewing on this vinyl stuff. This has 3 fat quarters in it. You could give it to a friend of yours as a gift. This is vinyl. This started with a square because it's a little bit taller. But do you see how I've got fabric inside, fabric on the back? I did some binding there along the edge, and then I added the zipper on top. This whips up really fast and easy. You want to put a piece of paper underneath your sewing machine because you'll get puckers otherwise. The rectangles do mug rugs, of course, all of those fun things. When you get to the bigger squares that we have, t-shirt quilts can be done with those too. So if you've got t-shirts and you want to do t-shirt quilts, those are fun as well. I want to show you one of the other projects that I really like to manipulate. I take my Burt pad, and with the Burt pad, you all know, Burt pad, walker bag, stroller bag, all kinds of fun things here. I started this project. Can you see the pleat that's here? There's a pleat and there's a pleat. This is cork. I love working with cork, but there are different weights of cork. This has a backing on it and this doesn't. So we're going to use the Burt pad template, and I basically am going to be cutting up to about here. This one, I also put a seam in here. Design your own bag. Yeah, perfect, Zeke. That's great. Can you all see that dart that's there? How did I get the dart? Well, I used my microwave bowl cozy. There's holes there. A lot of you guys have the microwave bowl cozies. Those, when I place that on for the microwave bowl on top of here, can you see how there, when I place it on there, whoops, when I place it on there, it's basically going to give me that dart that I want. So we've got that going on with this guy here and this guy here. I want to show you one last project. This is brand new. Oh, Zeke's going to show our screen. Before you do that, though, Zeke, zoom out on my face. Okay, we've been doing masks forever, and masks are not going away. So I want to show you another style of masks. I know a lot of people that do not want to wear masks. Summer is coming up. It's going to be hot. I'm poking and giving myself more of a nose, but do you see how this is open? I can still breathe, and I'll show you the filter in just a second, but do you see this? This can tuck into your suit if you're really in a tight spot and you want to make sure to protect everybody else. But this was made out of a man's shirt, and I took the pocket. Can you see that pocket? This is the breast pocket right there, and we put a filter inside of there. So if you are someplace where you are concerned about your health, put a filter in there. That was made from this. Now, I didn't use the whole template. You can see how I used part of it, but design your own. Okay, Zeke is going to pop up on the screen my information. I'm hoping I'm right at my 15 minutes. I am doing 20% off on my website. You guys know I go through Friday night. I give you a little bit extra time. You're going to get 20% off, and a lot of stuff is already on sale on my website. Plus, down at the bottom where it says enter my giveaway, I am giving away on my website the round offs, my favorite, most universal tool, the 3 of them, a 16x4 ruler, a 2x12 ruler, somewhere it's over here, and the layer cake template 10 inches, because everybody needs a layer cake in their life. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for bringing me back. I love doing this. It's so much fun. I always run out of time. I got more to show you, so stay tuned to my Facebook. I'll try to post some of these projects there too. Thank you guys. Have fun.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Linda. It's always fun to watch what you come up with. It's like you take the easiest projects and just, there they are.
Yeah, I tried.
Right, so we're going to
get her done. Take care.
No, stay. We're going to questions and answers.
Okay, great.
So I'd like to welcome everybody back. And if you have any questions for any of the vendors today, please just type them in real quick and we'll make sure we get them asked. I do have Raylene. Will the Boheen mechanical pencil wash away?
Yes, you can either erase it out or you can wash it out. Again, it's a non-oil base, so I have never had something it wouldn't come out. I always tell people if fabrics have a little more sizing, some have more sizing than others, that will be what usually makes any type of marking tool a little more difficult to get out. But I have never had a problem with the Bowen at all. Like I said, you're stitching right over that super fine line, so you usually don't even have to take it out. But yes, it will wash out or erase out.
Perfect. Okay, and nobody's typing in any questions, so I think you guys did really good with your demos, and you answered them as you were demoing. So if you do have a question, type it in super quick. You got like 30 seconds. And I just want to remind everybody that we do have a YouTube channel. So if you ever miss this live, you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. If you're lonely, you can just turn it on and listen to all the vendors. And Yazzii, what's the cost of CA120?
I'll just tell you what it is. It's on our website, and you'll get a 15% off that price. So the CA120 is $118 less 15%. It's been around for 20 years, that particular bag, and it's very popular. And it takes 20 hours for someone to make it on a treadle machine.
Wow, that's incredible.
Plus, they're going to get free shipping, and they're going to get those pouches, right? So I think for someone to have worked 20 hours to make that bag for you and get it at that, and it's been the same price for 3 years. So I think we've got a good buy there.
For sure. Okay, Linda, the template for the mask, what else can you use it for?
Oh my gosh, I have so many projects done with that template. It actually now comes in 3 sizes. This is the large. It's called a box bag template. So you make boxes, you make bags. I have so many different projects that I've done. If you go back and watch some of the videos, especially my Facebook Lives, and I've shown this in one of the Wild Wednesday Lives, so go back and watch the replay. My favorite project is where it's kind of going this way and you fold this down and it becomes a nice little box pleated bag. So many fun things. Crossbody. I was trying to find the small, medium, and large. Small, regular, and large. So there's here. And what I love about this, here's the regular size. This is the first one that I came up with. I have a brand new small one. And then I have fussy cut frames. Fussy cut frames, so if you wanted to get the frog, the dog, the bear, the toad perfectly centered, you can. But boxes, bags, and so much more.
Perfect. Okay, and then Julie, it just went up. You guys asked too many questions at a time. Okay, for Julie, if the mat wears out, can it be replaced separately? I tend to wear out a lot of mats.
I do too. And yes, all the pieces can be replaced separately. All you have to do is shoot us an email and we'll get you set up for that. But you probably won't need that for a month or 2, huh?
Yeah, hopefully. All right. And then Quilters Haven, what is your coupon code again?
I think it's RBM20, but if they go, on the Quiltcraft Sew Mall page and click on the Wild Wednesday link, it's on my landing page there, but Ruth told me and I forgot. I'm so sorry. That's so bad that I come on and do this and I don't even know my own code. But I think it's RBM20 for Rusty Barn Mall 20. But again, it's on that landing page. Sorry, guys.
Perfect. And Ruth, maybe if Ruth is still listening, you can type that in real quick. And then Linda, the cutter you used is different than any shape I have seen.
Yeah, it's Martelli's rotary cutter. It's an ergonomic rotary cutter. We make a left-handed one for people like me, and we make a right-handed one. We have a 45 millimeter, we have a 60 millimeter, we have a 28 millimeter. There's 3 sizes. Plus, I have a bundle on my website, winterdesigns.com, where you can get the cutter, a pack of blades, and a blade tin at a much discounted price. And then when you use the coupon code, you get an even better price. So, and once you use that rotary cutter, you will not go back to anything else. And I can promise you, anybody that's used it will be having testimonials on that as well. If you have problems with it, it's dirty. So I have a video it's called Clean Your Cutter. So there's lots of videos where I'll show you how to use that rotary cutter. You can hear as I roll it and click it, opening and closing. It's just amazing. It's been around for 20 plus years.
Perfect. And then one more question for Linda. Which round off did you use for that small bag again?
Okay, this guy here, believe it or not, I used the largest one. So this one, small projects can be done with the large template. You can buy the 3 together or you can buy them all separately. The large one I use a lot. I was surprised at how much I used it for little projects like this.
Perfect. All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us and for sticking around for the questions and answers. It's fun to get everybody involved. So from now on, those of you that are watching, anytime you have questions, you can type them in and we'll try to get them answered at the end of the live. And I just want to remind you that we do this every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So tune in, and please let all of your friends know. Thank you again to all you vendors who joined us. We really appreciate you taking the time out to share your products with us. All right, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.